Hello there, this is DBT, and this is Art of Runes. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt 8, and today I'm going to spend some of my fusion coins in buying a couple of cars that I don't currently own. But before I do that, I want to talk real quick about the latest changes that happened to Gauntlet, because oh boy, this is interesting. Now if you don't know what I'm talking about, then that means that you haven't been playing Gauntlet. You should be playing Gauntlet more from now on, because much like in multiplayer in Classic Season, now in Gauntlet you can also get some tokens. That's right, you can get tokens from just playing Gauntlet. Now remember that these rewards are for just playing. You don't need to win a race. All you need to do is finish races and you're gonna get some rewards. Now, for example, depending on the league is how many tokens you can get. In Amateur League you can get 10, Challenger League you can get 12, Pro League 15, Champion League 18, and Elite League 20. Now this is per race. Now given that it's 5 races that you can do to get rewards, that means that in the name, I always forget the name of the leagues. In Amateur League you can get 50 tokens, in Challenger League you can get a total of 60 tokens, for Pro League you can get 75, Champion is 90, and Elite League is 100 tokens. So that literally doubles the amount of tokens that you can get, because remember that in multiplayer in Classic Season you can also get 100 tokens by just finishing races as well. Again, I think it's worth mentioning that it is indeed about finishing, not even winning the races. So you can definitely get a bunch of tokens, 200 tokens daily. Now, I already made a video where I talked about how the adding of tokens in multiplayer was a good and a bad thing, but generally speaking a good thing. And I did say that, for example, it was gonna take you, with 100 tokens a day, it was gonna take you 200 days, for example, to buy a Class S car with the tokens. And that's a lot of days, but now that has been cut in half. And hopefully there's gonna still be a tiny bit of adjustment so that instead of taking you 100 days, I don't know, I think something a bit more sensible is like 60 days of grinding, 2 months of grinding to get one of the best cars in the game by just playing Gauntlet and all of that stuff. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to give you this quick information because I thought it was worth mentioning. And I keep seeing some changes like this that could be really good, but they also have some downsides. Whatever, I already made a video on that. So, the real purpose of this video is to purchase cars, because as you may or may not have noticed, I finally broke the 40 million milestone of fusion coins. Now, you know that I've been hoarding fusion coins for quite a while. I tend to save a lot, save them constantly. I don't spend them very often. Sometimes I do, and you know, you've seen some videos in which I go crazy and I upgrade a car from 0 to hero and spend like 8 or 10 million fusion coins all in one go. But generally speaking, I tend to save a lot precisely so that I can do dumb things like what I'm going to do today. So which cars am I gonna buy? Well, this is gonna take a while. There's gonna be a lot of cuts, but I'll show you. And my very first purchase is gonna be the Pontiac Solstice GXP, because I love this car. I think it's a beautiful. No, honestly, I don't really care too much about this vehicle, but you know, for the sake of having it, and it's really cheap, 100,000 fusion coins. Even if I'm never gonna upgrade this thing, that's fine by me. And honestly, it does look kind of fancy. So for a Class D car that probably will never upgrade, well, who knows? Maybe one day I'll get bored and start upgrading some of these cars, but we'll see. There we go. We have one more car. Let's go, baby. Next up, we have the Peugeot RCZR, another 100,000, another cheap car. And actually, I have been meaning to acquire this car for a while. I just never committed to it because, you know, I also have this car in, is this the same one that is in Asphalt 9? I think it is. So that would give me an opportunity to do an Asphalt 8 versus Asphalt 9 video on this. But there you go. Now this Peugeot is mine. There's also a Buick Riviera. Never once seen this car in multiplayer, I don't think. Maybe I have, but don't pay too much attention to it. I don't care too much for the car, but it's now in my garage. How about the Honda Civic Type R? This car I actually do like, and also give me the opportunity to do another Asphalt 8 versus Asphalt 9 video if I ever upgrade this, because grabbing this at stock is gonna be a bit of pain. But hey, the more cars I get, the merrier, I suppose. Can you tell what it is that I'm doing now? I think you can. Alfa Romeo 4C for 120,000. But why not? Why not? More Class D cars. That's right, I'm buying every single Class D car that I'm missing. Except that it's not about Class C only. Did I say Class C? I meant Class D. You know what I'm talking about, right? But yeah, so in case you couldn't tell, I'm buying the cars that I don't have. And yeah, this is a calculated situation. I already did a bit of the count on how much fusion coins I'm gonna be spending in this process. And trust me, it's a bunch. And this is when the purchases start to hurt, because they're no longer 100,000. Now suddenly it's for 130,000, like this Sbarro Sport, which is a car that I don't even like that much, though it does have a wing, so there's that to consider. But yeah, things start to get a bit more expensive from here onwards. Can you believe that I don't own the ED Design Torque? Well, honestly, if you know me and how I roll, you may understand why I've never went for this car. It's electric, so I don't love it. It looks interesting though, but it was super spam because it was pretty good for a while. Nowadays, I don't think it's that good, but hey, it looks crazy. I don't think it's as spammed anymore, so now I have more reasons to drive the cockroach, because that's what we used to call it. Oh yeah. How about a car that is ugly as sin? Get it? Sin? Because the brand is Sin? No? Okay. So, yeah, I honestly think that this car is a bit too funky looking, but eventually it kind of has grown on me. It does look kind of ugly. I'm not gonna say that it doesn't, but it's one of those ugly that you go like, it has some charm to it. I'm not gonna say it's ugly beautiful. It's just ugly charming. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. How about this spammy? Well, not in this game. I just know this car from Asphalt 9 being extremely spammy, but how about I get it? Maybe I can start a trend of spamming it in this game too. I don't know. I don't think it's even a good car after it got rebalanced. I don't think it was fantastic before the rebalance. I don't think it's good after the rebalance. Who knows? If you know, let me know. And now this is where it really began the pain. Because look at the price suddenly. Class B of the 1680 bracket, much more expensive. Let's go for it. It has a bit of a wing, so I don't know. Again, a lot of these cars that I'm purchasing right now, I have absolutely zero idea how good or bad they perform. I don't know, period. You know what? The wing looks kind of okay. It's a bit too small. It's not that it's small. It's too low. If it was considerably higher, I would like it even better. But it's still kind of a good-looking car. Oh, and the car that I wish it was like in... I'm sorry that I keep on bringing Asphalt 9, but you know, I play both of these games a lot. But in Asphalt 9, this car actually vrooms, and I love it for it. Over here, it's electric, which is kind of real in the sense that the car that was built IRL is indeed, it has a combustion engine, and eventually the idea was to make it electric, I guess, if it ever went into proper production. So this is, I suppose, the quote-unquote production version, or what it's meant to be, while the one in Asphalt 9 is the real version that it's out right now. I don't know. Oh, yes. I've been wanting this for a very long time. And I never felt comfortable spending 1.8 million on buying this car, because even though I wanted it, I didn't want it all that much to be like, yeah, let me spend all of these resources into buying the car, which is obviously what I'm doing right now. Now, I will explain why I'm doing this in a second once I buy the other cars that I'm missing. Alright, I had to filter for this one because somehow I missed it, but yes, this is coming home too. Let's go. Don't care too much about this car, but let's go. I'm sorry, I'm not too big into Bentley, except for the Bentley GT3, which does look very good, and it performs pretty not good. But oh well. Still, another car goes to the collection. Ooh, the DBS Super Leggera. Suddenly we're in Class A, and this is costing me way more. So, ouch, my resources. There they go. Nice knowing you, Fusion Coins. But I actually do like this car quite a bit. While I'm not super huge into Aston Martin, there's a few that I do like. And this definitely has. Even though it doesn't have a huge wing or anything, it looks very classy, very fancy. I like it. I do like these car shapes in general, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. How about a car that to this day, I believe it still has a broken engine sound? We'll test it out. But yeah, let's buy it also. The 918 Spider. Well, it's a very iconic car, though I don't love the livery that it has. I would prefer without a livery. It actually doesn't even have color options. I don't even know. Oh, it does. It does keep the livery though. So, okay, I gotta say this looks a little bit. Oh, that looks interesting. It looks a little Bumblebee-ish or something, but it's fine. Now, of all the purchases, this is one that I'm the least happy with because it's Ferrari, and this is a lot of resources for it, but I'll do it. It's fine, whatever. Listen, I may have something against Ferrari, but what I don't have something against, it's growing my collection of cars. Like this beauty, the Peugeot Onyx. Oh, man. Oh, does it have color options? Oh, it does. Look at that. Yeah, some of these cars I rarely have paid attention to. Though this one I think is the coolest one because of the gold with the black, but still pretty cool looking. And there's some liveries for it. Oh, okay. Can I? Game. Thank you. And there we go. Pejonics is also mine. Now, this one I would like to upgrade at some other point because I do want to drive this thing. I think it's a very cool looking car. Again, I've said it a bunch of times. I love cars with huge wings, but that doesn't mean that cars that don't have huge wings are cars that I don't like. I may still like cars that don't have the wings, so it's fine. This is one of those that I actually do like. So, with that, I have spent a little over 20 million Fusion coins in buying cars. And what I just did is purchase every single Fusion coin car that I was missing. Now, why did I do that? Let's go into quick race because I do want to test the Porsche 918 Spider. Because like I said, I think that thing has had a broken engine noise for quite a while. So let me select my Porsche. There it is. And yeah, I'm gonna drive it at stock. Who cares? I just want to listen to the engine and see what it sounds like. All right. Let's have a listen to this. Actually, you know what? Let me pause the music. I'm really curious to listen to this. What is happening with that engine noise? Yeah, it's broken. It's been broken for a very long time. I remember many months ago. Months? Well, technically, I guess it's right, months and months. But anyway, many months ago, I had checked this car, and I couldn't hear the engine at all. Completely silent. Now you can actually hear it. But it is weird. Actually, you know what? Let me show it to you in a different way. So in case you were ever curious what are my volume settings, this is how I have it. But I'm just going to completely remove this. No sound effects at all engine. And check this out. It's going to sound so weird. You see what I'm saying? I don't know what is the deal with this sound. It's kind of broken. It sounds like the car is always... You know how this game has fake gears? Where a car will supposedly shift gears and it has a... that type of thing. The part. It sounds like this car is stuck in that. And it's kind of funny because when you make a jump, that's when you can hear a little bit of what the car was meant to sound like. But it is... Okay, where's the jump? I need a jump. I want to show you what it sounds like with the jump. Here we go. See? And then it goes back to the... So, what's up with that? I don't know. So anyway, the reason for me to have bought what I believe it's like 18 cars right now and spending like 20 million on them, it's basically because I don't want to regret not having bought those cars. And I will explain. The situation, or rather this train of thought came to me once I missed the chance to buy a couple Class S cars for Fusion coins. Now, I've said a bunch of times before that this game relies very much on the whole concept of FOMO, meaning fear of missing out, which is when there is something available only for a limited amount of time, and then after that you lose the chance to get it. Now, this game has had a lot of cars hidden from, you know, I've been playing this game for like 3 years, 4 years, I don't know. But since I started playing it, a bunch of cars were hidden. You couldn't buy a lot of the cars. And then eventually, from time to time, Gameloft would put a ton of those cars on sale for Fusion coins, and everybody was happy. I remember the first time that I saw this happening, I saw people in the Asphalt 8 forums selling all of their inventory in order to get the Fusion coins and buy some cars that would never be available otherwise. You're like, holy moly, the cars are on sale. I really want to buy that thing, so I'm going to sell everything that I own in order to get the Fusion coins and purchase the cars. So that tells you how, back in the day, some of these cars were not available, and that was basically the norm. And then the cars would disappear again after a while, and then things went back to normal, where a lot of cars were hidden. But as time went by, these cars being sold for Fusion coins would appear more often, to the point where it actually became the norm, having pretty much the vast majority of the cars available to buy for, well, Fusion coins and other currencies as well. There were obviously token cars, credit cards, and whatnot, right? But mostly Fusion coins is what people were interested on, because tokens, well, you know, they were pay to win for such a long time that people didn't care. But the point that I'm trying to make over here is that once that became the norm of having a lot of these cars always on sale on the garage, made it so that people got used to it, and that was fine, you know. Oh, there's a lot of cars to purchase and whatnot. And there were a ton of cars that you could purchase like that in Class S, like really a lot. And I did take the opportunity to buy a bunch of cars myself over the years. I bought a lot of these Class S cars for Fusion Coins because they were cars that I cared for, or rather cared about, like the Apollo IE, for example, or whatever it was. That's also how I bought my SVJ, whatever. My point is that there were a lot of cars that you could purchase like that, and that made us, the players, kind of like, oh, okay, well, we have unlimited time to buy those things because this is norm now, so whatever. But remember that I said that this game is all about fear of missing out? Well, what Gauntlet did later, and that was not too long ago, was again hide a lot of the cars so that you can no longer purchase them for Fusion Coins or even for tokens or whatever. Now, if you want to get it, you have to wait until they're somehow, in some way, available. And that's only going to be for a limited amount of time, for example, in the multiplayer store nowadays, or things like that. And obviously right now I'm just driving against the eye with some of my stock cars that I just purchased because why not? And here's where I have to admit that even my own strategies are not always good, even for me. Because, you know, I just said earlier how I hoard the Fusion Coins. So for a long time, a bunch of cars that were on sale, I didn't buy them because I fell on the same idea, like, I'll have time to do it later, let me just save some more, so on and so forth. And you know what is a car that I missed out on purchasing like that? It may not be the best car out there, but it was there for me to purchase. I definitely had the Fusion Coins and never did. That was the Koenigsegg Regera. Now, what is the situation with the Regera? It then became a treasure rush car. So if I wanted to get it, I need to spend $150 to get it. What? A car that I could have bought for 4 million Fusion Coins that I definitely had because I had the currency to do it. Then suddenly went for treasure rush, and now I don't know that I'll ever acquire that car if I'm not willing to spend that dumb amount of money into getting it for sure. So that is when I realized, like, oh, you know what? I think I'm doing this wrong. I have a lot of resources. There's still cars that can be purchased for Fusion Coins. I should probably start buying. But Tom DBT still didn't do it. And for example, now I missed on a car that I did want to get at some point, but I was always like, nah, I'll buy it later. I'm talking about the McLaren F1 XP, the orange car in Class A. That car, I'm not a huge McLaren fan, but you know, that's an iconic car, the McLaren F1 as a whole. So I did want to get that car eventually, and it was on sale for Fusion Coins, again for like 2.7 or something million Fusion Coins. And I was always like, yeah, I'll buy it at some point. I'll keep saving, I'll buy it at some point. And guess what? Now I cannot buy it because now it's exclusive to a what's it called? A bundle or something where you need to buy a bunch of cars for actual money, and that includes that car. And there's no other way to acquire that car currently. And that is when I was like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this, regretting not having purchased some cars. So right now, as I showed you, I bought a bunch of cars. Some of them I care about, like this one. Some others I didn't care about at all. Why did I buy them all then? Well, let's get to another race. So the reason I bought even cars that I don't really care about is because I don't want to find myself regretting not purchasing the car because I'm gonna need it later. Now, I don't know for sure that any of these cars will be needed later, but it has happened before that when a special event begins, the cars, generally speaking, the cars that are needed for that special event go off. If they were on the garage to purchase, they get removed from there, and instead they're being sold for money because obviously Gauntlet wants to monetize. Like, oh, here's some cars that you need. You want to just pay, I don't know, whatever amount of dollars in order to get it. Here you go. And when they do that, like I said, they remove it from the garage oftentimes. So then you're in a situation where you might be on a special event and you're like, oh, okay, so I need this car. Let me purchase it for Fusion Coins. I remember seeing it. Oh, guess what? It's no longer there. Now, like I said, I don't know that any of these cars are going to be needed for a special event or not. But like I also just mentioned, I just don't want to find myself regretting not having gotten the cars when I could for Fusion Coins just because I was like, oh, let me hoard some more Fusion Coins. I've said it a bunch of times that it's good to save resources, but as I've already explained in this video, just saving for the sake of saving without actually making use of them serves absolutely no purpose. It's kind of dumb. So yes, I accept my mistakes, my errors. I have to live with the cars that now I regret not having purchased when I had the chance. And if I want them at some other point, I don't know what I'm gonna have to do in order to get it. Definitely not gonna pay $150 for the Regera. I don't care about it that much, but I would have liked to have it, you know, eventually upgrade it and maybe do a Koenigsegg Gauntlet team or whatever. So yeah, that's why I decided to spend half of all of my Fusion Coins because excuse me, still having about 20 million fusion coins left right now. It's still plenty amount of fusion coins in case I need to upgrade a car suddenly for some special event or something. I don't know. You know that I like having resources to upgrade a car if I really have to in case of a special situation. Now, I also have ultimate upgrades and whatnot, but whatever, let's not even go there. I just wanted to say that, indeed, it's a good idea also to spend your resources when you have them. Just don't go broke. That is my main point. Don't go broke, just do a good balance between, hey, I can spend some, I can save some. So yeah, I bought all of the fusion coins cars that I was missing. There's no more fusion coin cars for me to buy. I had already at some of the point also bought all of the credit cars. Now I guess what I'm missing is buying the token cars. So for that, I'm gonna be grinding a little bit more for the tokens before I start purchasing. But yeah, I will eventually like to get them all. And that is not because I want to have every single car in the game, though that would be kind of dope, honestly, even if I don't have them upgraded. But you know, just in general for the sake of the collection, and because what else am I gonna do with the resources? You know, eventually there comes a point when I'm like, yeah, I should use this in something, and that is the plan. Now the token cars is gonna take me a long time because some of those are very expensive and whatnot. Some of those might end up being made available for free during a car hunt or something. And by the way, there's also a very good chance that some of the cars that I already purchased that cost me $1 million or so, whatever, at some point they're gonna be made available for free during a car hunt. But as I said, I'd rather not regret, or rather, I would rather at that point be like, oh, well, I wasted $2 million or however many fusion coins, than to be at some other point like, oh my god, I need this car right now, and I missed my chance to buy it at that back then. So yeah, that's why I decided to do this whole thing, and like I said, a bunch of these cars I'm probably never gonna upgrade. It's gonna take me a long time to upgrade if I ever do it at all, and that's fine. I just want to have them around in case someday I need it, and if I don't need them, that's fine. You know, this is also another 18 cars or so that I added to my garage that now I can use for selfies during the Friday multiplayer events, because why not? So there you have it. I would not suggest, but just give you a bit of a thought about this whole thing, that maybe purchasing while you can is a better idea than to regret not having bought it when you need them or when they're no longer available. But there you go. Just wanted to make this video. That's all. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.